Ottoman Empire. For over 6 centuries, this Islamic superpower dominated 3 continents, controlled the crossroads of East and West, and shaped the modern world in ways we still see today. From a small beylik in Anatolia to one of history's longest-lasting empires, this is the complete story of the Ottomans. Our story begins in the late 13th century. The Mongol invasions had shattered the Seljuk Turkish state in Anatolia, leaving behind a patchwork of small principalities called beyliks. Among these was a modest territory led by a warrior named Osman, born around 1258. Osman Bey ruled a small frontier principality near the Byzantine border, and it's from his name that we get Ottoman. Osman was a Ghazi, a frontier warrior fighting to expand Islamic territory. His strategic genius lay in attracting warriors with the promise of land and loot while positioning himself between the weakening Byzantine Empire and the fractured Anatolian interior. When Osman died in 1323 or 1324, he left his son Orhan a small but growing state. Orhan would transform this frontier principality into something far greater. He captured the important city of Bursa in 1326, making it the first Ottoman capital, and began organizing a proper administrative system. The Ottomans' destiny changed forever in 1354 when they crossed into Europe, establishing a foothold in Gallipoli. This wasn't just territorial expansion, it was the beginning of a centuries-long Ottoman presence in the Balkans. Under Murad I, who ruled from 1362 to 1389, the Ottomans conquered Adrianople, which they renamed Edirne and made their new capital. They were now closer to Constantinople than to their Anatolian heartland. The defining moment came at the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. Though Murad was assassinated during the battle, the Ottomans emerged victorious, breaking Serbian power and establishing Ottoman dominance in the Balkans. His son Bayezid, nicknamed the Thunderbolt for his speed in battle, continued the expansion, conquering Bulgaria and besieging Constantinople itself in the 1390s. Then disaster struck. In 1402, the Central Asian conqueror Timur invaded Anatolia and crushed the Ottoman army at the Battle of Ankara. Bayezid was captured and died in captivity. The empire fragmented as his sons fought a bitter civil war for over a decade. This period, known as the Ottoman Interregnum, nearly ended the empire before it truly began. It seemed the Ottomans would be just another forgotten Turkish beylik, but they survived. Mehmed I reunified the realm by 1413, and his son Murad II rebuilt Ottoman power, defeating crusaders and consolidating control over both Anatolia and the Balkans. Murad's son would achieve what Muslim rulers had dreamed of for 8 centuries. Mehmed II, who became Sultan at age 19 in 1451, had one obsession: Constantinople. This city, the greatest fortress in the world, had withstood sieges for over 1,000 years. Its massive walls seemed impregnable. But Mehmed was a Renaissance prince as much as a Muslim warrior. He hired Hungarian engineers to build massive cannons, including the famous basilica that could fire stones weighing over 600 kilograms.
On April 6, at its peak.
Suleiman's navy, led by the legendary Admiral Barbarossa, dominated the Mediterranean. Ottoman fleets raided as far as Italy and Spain. The empire stretched from Algeria to Iraq, from Hungary to Yemen. It was one of the world's three great gunpowder empires, along with Safavid Persia and Mughal India. Istanbul became one of the world's largest cities, a cosmopolitan center of art, architecture, and learning. The empire developed sophisticated institutions. The Devshirme system recruited Christian boys who converted to Islam and could rise to the highest positions based on merit. The Janissary Corps formed an elite infantry, and the millet system allowed religious communities to govern their own affairs. But empires don't remain at their peak forever. After Suleiman's death in 1566, subtle changes began. The empire had grown so large that it became difficult to govern effectively. Sultans increasingly remained in the palace rather than leading armies. Power shifted to viziers, generals, and the Janissaries, who became a conservative political force resisting modernization. Military setbacks accumulated. The Ottomans lost a major naval battle at Lepanto in 1571, though they quickly rebuilt their fleet. More seriously, they fought exhausting wars with Safavid Persia and faced a new, aggressive rival in Europe, the Habsburg Empire. In 1683, the Ottomans launched another siege of Vienna, their last great attempt to expand into Europe. They failed, and the subsequent counterattack pushed them out of Hungary. The Treaty of Karlowitz in 1699 was a watershed. For the first time, the Ottomans ceded significant European territory. The 18th century brought relentless pressure. Russia, under Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, pushed southward toward the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. The Ottomans lost war after war, ceding Crimea in 1783. Internal problems mounted as well. Provincial governors became semi-independent, the Janissaries resisted all reform, and the empire's finances deteriorated. European powers began calling the Ottoman Empire the sick man of Europe. Some sultans recognized the need into Anatolia. Then came World War I. The Ottoman leadership, dominated by the nationalist Young Turks, made a fateful decision to ally with Germany against Britain, France, and Russia. The reasoning seemed sound. Russia was the empire's greatest enemy, and Germany appeared strong enough to win. It was a disastrous miscalculation. Ottoman forces fought on multiple fronts: the Caucasus against Russia, Mesopotamia and Palestine against Britain, Gallipoli against an allied invasion. The Gallipoli campaign in 1915 to 1916, where Ottoman forces commanded by Mustafa Kemal defeated a British-led invasion, was the empire's last great victory. But elsewhere, defeats mounted. The British captured Baghdad and Jerusalem. Arab provinces, encouraged by Lawrence of Arabia and British promises, revolted. During the war, the Ottoman government also committed the Armenian genocide, deporting and massacring over 1 million Armenians in a systematic campaign of ethnic cleansing. By October 1918, the empire was exhausted and defeated. It signed an armistice, and Allied forces occupied Istanbul. The Treaty of Sevres in 1920 would have partitioned even Anatolia itself among Greece, France, Italy, and an independent Armenia and Kurdistan. But the Ottoman story had one final chapter. Mustafa Kemal, the hero of Gallipoli, rallied Turkish nationalists in Anatolia. In the Turkish War of Independence from 1919 to 1923, his forces defeated Greek armies, expelled foreign occupiers, and forced a new treaty. The Treaty of Lausanne in 1923 recognized the borders of modern Turkey. On November 1, 1922, the Grand National Assembly formally abolished the Sultanate. The last Sultan, Mehmed VI, fled on a British warship. On March 3, 1924, the Caliphate itself was abolished. After 623 years, the Ottoman Empire was no more. What remains of this vast empire? Its legacy is complex and contested. The Ottomans ruled over an incredibly diverse population: Turks, Arabs, Greeks, Armenians, Kurds, Jews, and dozens of other groups. Their millet system, while not equality as we understand it, allowed religious communities unprecedented autonomy for a pre-modern empire. Ottoman architecture, from the Blue Mosque to the Topkapi Palace, still awes visitors. Ottoman Turkish, written in Arabic script and filled with Persian and Arabic loanwords, served as a literary language for centuries. But the empire's end was traumatic. The Armenian genocide, the Greek-Turkish population exchanges, the arbitrary borders drawn across the Middle East by European powers after World War I, all these created wounds that haven't healed. Modern debates about the Ottoman legacy often divide between those who see it as a golden age of Islamic power and multicultural coexistence and those who remember it as foreign domination and oppression. What's undeniable is the empire's historical importance. The Ottomans stopped Constantinople from ever being retaken by Christian powers. They preserved and transmitted Islamic civilization through a period when much of the Muslim world faced upheaval. They created a model of Islamic governance that balanced religious law with practical administration. And their centuries-long presence in Europe, Africa, and Asia created connections and conflicts that still shape our world. From Osman's small Beylik to Suleiman's superpower to the sick man of Europe, the Ottoman Empire's 6th century journey encompasses triumph and tragedy, innovation and stagnation, glory and decline. It remains one of history's most fascinating empires, and understanding it is essential to understanding the modern Middle East, the Balkans, and the complex relationship between East and West.